So we'll be starting now. A very good afternoon to everyone present here. We welcome you to this session on guidance for IIM ABC Admissions. Today we have four of our IIMs who will be providing us with fruitful insights. Firstly, we have Adhip Garp, who is currently pursuing MBA from IIM Bangalore. He scored 99.84 percentile in CAT and did his BTech in electrical engineering from here. Next up, we have Lakshya Kumar, who is currently in IIM Calcutta. He worked in OYO rooms under SDE profile before this and was from the mechanical department. Since it's going to be an interactive session, so I urge you all to kindly switch on your cameras. Gaurav, you can take it from here.
Yes, Smriti. So, hello everyone. I am Kumar. Welcome to the session. The third speaker for today's session is Debashish Reang. He is a Vice 17 from Electrical Engineering Department, and he is currently a second year MBA student at IIM Ahmedabad. And the fourth speaker is Prakansh Mishra, a Y18 student from Material Science and Engineering Department, and he is currently a first year MBA student at IIM Bangalore. So both Debashish and Prakansh joined the IIMs just after graduation. So in this session, speaker will try to cover all the popular routes for management that IITK students opt or consider after graduation, about timeline and preparation, institute and programs, and selection criteria. So we will be having the Q&A session at the end. So over to the speakers now.
Okay, I'll share my screen. Okay.
Okay.
Wait, just give me a sec. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Some people are still joining the meeting, so you, whoever is the host or co-host, please admit them. Okay. Yeah. So, first thing, thanks for inviting all of us to speak to you guys. I mean, Prakansh and I are freshers, like we joined fresh out of college. So in terms of experience, I don't have any experience as such. I mean, corporate experience, right? So yeah, welcome once again. And just to reiterate the point that Smriti made, it'll be great if you can turn your videos on. I mean, it's very spooky to just speak to a vacuum, you know. So yeah, I'll just get started. So yeah, this is the agenda for the talk. In no particular order, okay. Also, don't be intimidated by the good-looking slide. The quality gets worse as we progress. Okay, so please bear with that.
You can actually see which slides Deva has made because it's the second year and which slides I have made. Okay, you'll get to learn how PPTs are made.
Yeah, they pay us to make PPTs. So yeah, so overall, we want to cover what an MBA is, and then why you should get an MBA, or why you might want to consider getting an MBA. And the third, you know, a little bit controversial, but where to get your MBA from? I would say from IIMA, but the others would disagree. And then we'll wrap up and have Q&A. So in between, if you feel like you want to ask something, just raise your hand or put your questions in the chat. Okay, we'll try to answer them. Yeah, so we'll just start. Yeah, somebody from IIM B or C could take this up, I guess, or maybe we can do institute wise, right?
Sure. I mean, I guess I'll take it up. This slide, and we can you can tell about Ahmedabad, and we can tell about Bangalore. The specific things.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, in an MBA, you guys know what an MBA is. It's a Master's in Business Administration, and so MBA is usually called a postgraduate program in management, or in IIM Bangalore's case, there's another course called postgraduate program in business analytics. So these are basically the MBAs that IIM A, B, and C offer, and they are called PGP. So don't get confused in whether PGP is MBA or not. So so once you come into an MBA, what you get is a very diverse set of domains in which you can actually do courses, and so as I've written the strategy, finance, economics, marketing, HR. So you'll do courses from all of these. I am doing courses at this moment from 6 of these departments, you could say. And yeah, so moving on to the course structure.
In domains also, what we have is like in few other MBA colleges, what you will see is they are like in SP Jain, what you have is they do take you into the program with the specialization itself. Like you would have heard of MBA from SP Jain College. So what they do is they take you in the specialization like you are in the finance domain or so. But what we have in Bangalore, and I suppose we have the same in Ahmedabad and Calcutta, it's just the PGP course where you cover all these things. And in the future years, what like the second year or like when we'll move to the course structure part, you can take the courses which where you want to do the specialization, and electives will suffice all those things. Like if you want to do marketing course, then you have ample number of marketing course and you will be specializing in marketing. So that kind of thing is what happens in MBA, because what I feel the concept of ABC is they do not consider that students will be knowing that, yeah, they'll be going into finance, they'll be going into strategy, they'll be going into entrepreneurship. So what they do is they make your base in the first year or in first 2 terms. And like what we have is like we have a trimester kind of thing. So what we have in first 2 terms, they make your base, and then according to the electives, you can define your specialization. Can move ahead.
Yeah. So as Adhip said, we have a trimester system. So you will be going through 6 terms in the 2-year program, and first year. So in the first year, mostly you will be doing core courses, which are basically which will be setting the fundamentals for future courses. And so you can kind of understand in the first year what you really like and what you want to pursue in the future. So according to that, you can kind of choose and bid for. So there's a let's not talk about that. You can choose your electives in the future, and yeah. So in IIM's case, you can actually choose electives from your 3rd term onwards. So this is the first year only. And but in IIM Ahmedabad's case, I think that is not the case, right, Deba?
Yeah, I mean, you're given 2 choices, but again, those are like you have to choose 2 courses out of 4, so not much of a choice. But second year, yeah, we're free to choose any course that we want.
Yeah, second year, it's all electives, no core courses.
And I think we have covered like the 2 things which are left are summer internship and student exchange. Like what you would have seen in like at IITK, in 3rd year you go for like 3rd year summers you go for your internship. Similarly, in after completing your first year at IIM Bangalore, you go for your summer internship, and the interviews happen just after, like we have just entered the college, and in November or so we'll be having our summer placement interviews. Next is student exchange. It is like you do a term, like a semester in a foreign college, and that will be counted as the grades or the credits will be counted for the course structure for the semester or for the course of IIM Bangalore itself. So your that you score at student exchange will be there, and the credits will be there in your final report card.
I think Deva is going for an exchange, right? Deva?
Yeah, I'm going for dual degree exchange. So
Okay.
at IIMA, actually, the exchange grades don't get counted. So if you're going for 1-term exchange, we just need to pass the courses, and that's not counted. So some of my friends are going to Europe, and they have classes like 2 days a week, and remaining 5 days they're just roaming around. But again, it depends college to college, right? And I think most of the colleges would be common between IIM A, B, and C, but if you are exclusive to A or B or C, right? So again, if that's something that attracts you, then maybe you should research a bit about it. But I would say student exchange should not be your deciding factor in deciding whether to get an MBA or not. You can always get paid in corporate and go to Europe with corporate money and roam around. Okay.
Yeah, I think we can move to the next.
We can move to the next one.
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
you can go ahead with this.
Okay. So, yeah. So why you should get an MBA? It again, there's no what do you call fixed reason as to why one should get an MBA, right? So, I'll start by narrating why I chose to get an MBA, and then the others could add, and then I'll tell in general why people choose to get an MBA. Also, I should mention that MBA in India and then abroad, they're quite different. As in, if you want to get an MBA abroad, say in the US or the European Union, then you need a minimum of 2 to 3 years of work experience. In India, you can join straight after your bachelor's program. So that's different. And since we are not, domain experts in foreign MBA, so for the purpose of this talk, we'll limit it to MBA in India itself. Okay. So yeah, why I choose to get an MBA, right? After my UG, I mean, somebody introduced me as an electrical engineering major, but honestly speaking, I did not like electrical engineering at IITK at all. So this was kind of an escape path for me, because the curriculum, right, like the mention, is really flexible, and after first year, it actually gives me a lot of flexibility to explore non-technical stuff, right? So right now I'm actually very interested in public policy. So I could take a lot of courses in public policy, and then once I graduate, let's say if I want to get into government or consulting for the government, then that actually helps me, right? So personally for me, it was like, since engineering wasn't working out, I had a few options actually. I could either switch from electrical to other field of science, for example, computer science. I actually had applied for an MS in CS in New Zealand, but then that did not work out because COVID and everything hit, right? And MTech, for some personal reasons, I did not write the GATE exam, so I did not do that, and I was too late to apply for an MS abroad, so I did not do that for the US. But fortunately, I had taken the CAT in November, and then I also got shortlisted and everything. So then I just came here, and honestly, it's been a fun experience as far as the MBA experience has been concerned. At IMA, it's quite academically intense, but then the internship was good, and then the courses and everything was good. So yeah. Now, speaking generally about why people choose to get an MBA, so just like your undergrad degree, right? People after working for 2 to 3 years in a particular role, they feel like, okay, they're stagnant in a job, and now they want to move into managerial positions. So fresh out of bachelor's, I think most people get hired for software or business development roles, right? But then that does not actually fast track you to management positions. So most people choose to get an MBA, and then that's how the first point. And networking opportunities, yeah, I mean, if you go to any of these ABC IIMs, then the alumni base is quite accomplished. And then down the road, if you want to start your own venture or you want to do something, then the alumni network actually helps. Managerial skills, I mean, this is debatable. Again, it depends on how much you wish to learn. Entrepreneurial abilities, again, it depends from people to people, right? So if you come from, let's say, middle class, or from a let's say lower income family, then maybe right now you will not do it, but after working in corporate for, let's say, 7 to 8 years, you might want to do this. Flexibility, I have already talked about. And relevance, again, it depends on what you want from your career, right? So when we joined IITK, all of us must have been like 17, 18-year-olds. We did not have much of an idea about how the world works, but the 4 years that you spend at IITK gives you a lot of idea about how the world works. And if you really think, okay, maybe engineering is not your cup of tea, then this is a good pivot to pivot, right? Yeah, lots of words. I hope you understood like a few core things. I'll move on to the next slide, and this IMB people can take up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is the best place to go to? So let's keep it.
Nice.
So let's keep this to IIMs and let's not compete among ourselves. We know that all the IIMs are pretty much best in placements, say, for a preschool in India. Again, we all know the second point. We all have that IITK tag. So we know what that tag is, and an IIM tag is similar to that in the way it opens opportunities for you, and it opens networks, alumni base, and all those things that come with it. Faculty, pretty much the best business faculty are here in IIM ABC and IKLS as well. So IKLS is Indore, Kozhikode, Lucknow, Shillong, and so on. There are 20 IIMs at this moment, but I guess we won't be able to cover all. So and then the framework, the whole academics at at IIMs is pretty rigorous and balanced. So as we saw that we have courses from different domains, and they kind of make hone you into it's a very holistic approach to teaching you how to do business. So you need all that to really work in a business setting. So it's a pretty balanced framework which helps you in the future.
Yeah, just on the last point, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's rigorous and balanced, but compared to engineering, right? So the breadth is there, okay, but the depth of things is not there in MBA, honestly. So in engineering, you might be like, you might get behind a proof and proof it very, rigorously and stuff. In MBA, they'll just gloss over stuff and say, I mean, it again makes sense, right? Because here you don't need to be a domain expert, right? You just have to have the necessary skills to manage people below you, which happens to be unfortunately engineers in most cases. So if you want people to write hardcore solutions or code, then you just tell them, okay, this is the solution that I want, and this is how you do it, and then the engineers actually go and implement this on ground, right? I mean, it's not the ideal way of things, but it is. So yeah. Yeah. Prakash, do you want to cover this?
Yeah, you would cover the freshers part. I'll do the.
Yeah, sure. So when is the right time to do an MBA? So it depends, right? For freshers, so in my case, I had some clarity as to what I want to do. So that's what brought me to an MBA right out of college. So basically, what I mean by clarity is, let's say you know that you want to go into into a finance role, and or an investment. So by finance role, I mean an investment banking role or something like that. So that kind of clarity you have, but those opportunities don't really come to IIT Kanpur in abundance. So you know that you need to kind of go to a better place for that, and IIMs are pretty much the best place for getting finance or consulting or whatever knowledge knowledge and opportunities that you need. So coping with studies, I guess this is just this is very vague point. Like it depends from person to person. A person could actually go work for 3 to 4 years and come back and pretty much study with the same rigor. But so since I have been studying for 4 years in college, it's a pretty easy transition to just come here and continue my studies. So that's what I mean by coping up with studies. And I think Adhip can take up the work part now. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So sorry. Yeah, I mean, there's no right or wrong time to do an MBA. Okay, that you should understand. Again, it depends on your personal circumstances, right? I chose to join MBA as a fresher because after my bachelor's, I was certain that for 2 years, doesn't matter what field, I am going to study for 2 years. So that's why I joined it. In hindsight, I feel like getting some corporate experience might help. So at IMA, we actually have this deferment program, right? So if you get placed from IITK and you get accepted to IMA on the regular cycle, like not on wait list or anything, then you could actually request them to defer your admission for 1 or 2 years so that you get some corporate experience, and that might be helpful in certain cases. So in corporate, they use Excel a lot, right? So then if you already know Excel, then that's kind of helpful here. And also in corporate, if you work, whether you like it or not, you'll be working as part of a team, and then that actually helps in study groups and stuff. Coping with studies, honestly, I think that's again, like Prakansh said, a vague point, because it doesn't matter. You can just transition easily, I would say, because once you get into the flow, then it should not be that hard, right? uh, yeah, my personal take on this is, get 1 or 2 or 3 years of corporate experience and then do an MBA. The upside to that is, if you already like corporate, then you could just keep on working. You would just be upgrading your qualification, and if you feel like you don't want to, then you are not wasting 2 years of MBA, right? You could just continue in engineering roles. And other side point, I mean, I should not say this thing in Ahmedabad, but you would have extra cash to party, so that's a good thing, right? Yeah, now Adhip would talk about the work
Yeah.
experience.
Great point, Deba. Like what I would say is, of course, like for the like talking about my background, what I did was after IIT Kanpur, I was a data analyst. So I worked there for 2 years, and then I joined IIM Bangalore. So yes, the plus point was that in IIT Kanpur we don't use Excel and so a lot, but in WorkX they usually do Excel, and also they know how to make PPTs and all somehow. So that plus point adds you to during your coursework at the college. What we have at IIM Bangalore is we also have people who have 7 years of WorkX, or for say 6 years of WorkX. So the range is quite a lot, and also like there are a sufficient amount of freshers too. So what I would say is, the first point is relatability. Of course, like what you have seen in your yeah, you would have done the internship, so you would know how the company works and how the organization works, or how a team works and all. So that helps a lot, because at IIMs you have to do group projects, and it is the key that there is no free time at IIMs. You are on your toes always. So the you will be relatable, like you would be working in that kind of environment at your offices. So similarly, you can cope up here also at IIM. And next is preference. What I would say is, yeah, that is the point is somewhat vague, because we have a concept called lateral placements, in which you would have to have 18 months plus of the workings at IIM Bangalore, for the case of IIM Bangalore. And like you have the final placements, and before that there are lateral placements where the students who have workings greater than 18 months would be allowed to sit. The point I would make before saying that which is better is, if you prefer to give CAT this year, or you wish to take some workings and then give CAT, but still I would advise you all to at least give CAT this year, so that you can gain some experience that how the paper is. It depends on your preparation. If you do not want to prepare, still you just give CAT. If you wish to do the workings part before and then go on with your MBAs, but still at least give your CAT, so that you know how the paper is and how you have to prepare in the future years if you wish.
Yeah. So adding to that, this advice is only for the 4th years, because you can't give CAT in 3rd year and 2nd year and before that. So and another point is, you actually get preference if you have workx in admission in the admissions to IIMs. So there is a certain weightage which IIMs give to people with workx. So that helps. That helps getting into an IIM. If you need to get into one, that helps. And to be honest, the correct answer to when is the right time to do an MBA is basically whenever you get into an IIM.
We can move on to the next.
Yeah. Okay, I can take this up, I think.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so yeah, this is the timeline. again, just ignore the aesthetics of the slide. Okay, some are good, some are bad. Um, yeah, so this would probably like mostly apply to fourth years, but it's useful to know for other people also. I'm assuming there are others. So November of previous year, right? So if you want to take admission into IIMs next year, then you would appear for CAT in November of this year. Okay, the applications usually open in the month of July or August. So please check that and register. It's a nominal cost and everything. Right. So in November you have this CAT. It's called Common Admissions Test, I think, or Common Aptitude Test. I don't know, whatever. So you take the CAT in November, and then it has three sections. There is this verbal ability, which is like the comprehension that you get in your English score in class 12 board exams. And then you have a DILR. This should be pretty easy for IITK folks. It's just logical reasoning and connecting shapes and stuff. And quant would be like the easiest for us because that's what we've been doing our whole lives, right? So yeah, uh, um, then you do well in this. I would not, or if the others want, they could go into this, but I would not go into much detail about how I prepared for it, because my own story is that I did not prepare for it. I just went and wrote it and I got it somehow. Okay. So
Yeah,
if you want,
yeah, I would like to add on to this. So,
yeah.
as Debashish said, VARC is the main part of this CAT exam, which engineers usually lack of. So main preparation, what you, if you are serious about giving CAT, then main preparation which you will require is of VARC. But I would say do not leave behind DILR or quant also, because you have gone into the higher level of these. But when you encounter these questions, you go on to other methods or so, and the answer can be found out in just a minute. So that practice is also required. And for the case of CAT, I would say DILR has many tips and tricks. So that is what you would require to fasten your speed, because what usually happens is people do not complete the paper itself. So the speed is the key that you would require in CAT. Speed and accuracy are the main things that you require in CAT. The preparation which you will need is mostly of VARC, especially for engineers.
Yeah, so I'll just add to that. So what I've realized is CAT is basically a time game for anyone giving CAT. If you basically have to optimize your accuracy as well as optimize the number of questions that you attempt, so that you get a maximum score as possible in the given time. So that really becomes a time game. And if you go on using whatever different methods and advanced methods to solve pretty basic questions, then you know that you won't be able to complete the paper on time. So pretty much it become you have to keep practicing. Don't become complacent about DLR and quant, because otherwise that is quite difficult. If you yeah, DLR is pretty tricky, and you'll have to work on it. Yeah, you'll have to practice it.
Yeah, essentially like don't overcomplicate like basic questions, right? So think that you're in class 11 and 12 and solve accordingly, right? That would be my main advice. And then I'll share this PPT after the talk. Okay, so I have this friend, Nikita, she's in my batch at IMA. So she had actually written an article for this inside IM or whatever blog that is. So there she actually elaborates on, which coaching institute she went to, and which test series that she appeared for and so on. She was the So yeah, that's one. And then in Feb to April, you get various shortlists and stuff. And then depending on the shortlist, the IIMs would call you for interviews. again, the criteria change from year to year and it changes from institute to institute. Just a sec, okay?
Yeah, I'll take it up temporarily. Different institutes have different criteria. By criteria, what we really mean here is they kind of judge you on your CAT score, your 10th marks, your 12th marks, your graduation marks, and if you are in your 4th year, they'll just consider your marks up till 6th semester, I think. Because CAT, you will be applying CAT after your 6th semester. So graduation marks up till 6th semester, your work ex, and
Some points are also given for
Diversity.
CAT diversity and gender diversity also. It also
Yeah.
depends on college to college.
Yeah.
Like all colleges do not give like some colleges, what they have is they give 5 marks for a CAT diversity and 5 marks for gender diversity. So engineer and male, they won't be getting any points for that.
So basically, what you can do to really find out what these criteria are for different institutes, you can just search up, let's say, the college name, IIM Bangalore admission criteria, IIM Ahmedabad admission criteria. If you search that on Google, the first link that you'll get will most probably be the admission criteria. It will be a PDF of 4 to 5 pages. Just go through that. It is pretty straightforward, and you'll get to know what the criteria are at different stages.
Yeah, so that criteria is quite important. Okay, so you should go through it carefully. So I don't know about B and C, but IIMA actually removed the undergrad criteria this year. So as a result, like
C removed it as well.
yeah.
B hasn't removed it.
Mainly because of COVID.
Yeah, because of COVID only. So as a result, right, the final profile of the batch, it turned out to be different. So we have like the difference between freshers and like the years of work ex that has increased actually this year, because people who just graduated this year, I think many of them did not get into A, okay, just because they had removed this criteria. So again, just like Prakansh said, Google and see, but don't worry much about the criteria, okay? A rule of thumb is to be, a rule of thumb is to do as well as you can in all the criteria that they mentioned. That's all. Obviously, you can't go back and do 10th and 12th, but then if you are in your second or third year, I think you could still improve your CGPA, right? So that's one thing. And obviously, you can't do anything for gender and academic diversity because we're all engineers. And yeah, okay, that's pretty much self-explanatory. And in May, I think almost every IIM announces their final results, and this continues, the waitlist and everything continues till first or second week of June, and then you'll have your convocation. And yeah, depending on which IIM you get into, last week of June or first week of July, your classes should start. Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to add one point here. In that interview period, there is also a thing called WAT. So just that is basically written ability test. In IIM Ahmedabad, it's called AWT, I think, as far as I know. Analytical writing test.
Yeah.
So that is basically a write-up that you have to do on the spot. They'll give you a topic, and you have to write up about some topic, mostly current trends.
Current trends, maybe a social issue, or sometimes in like Ahmedabad, what we are given a situation and we have to analyze that and give our like what we infer from that case.
Yeah, just to add, AWT or WAT, right? So the important thing to remember is there are no right or wrong answers. Okay, so you take a position and then you defend it. Like it's just like your standard debate thing, right? So if I remember correctly, I got something on should labor unions exist or not. So then I took a position and I just wrote, okay, these are the reasons why I feel like my position is correct, and that's all. But again, as engineers, I think our writing skills tend to not be up to the mark. So that's something that you should prepare for. But then I think that comes only after like the
shortlist.
Post shortlist stage, right? So it's not much to worry about, honestly. It's just like a black box. I don't know. Again, the rule of thumb is to do well in it, because if you do badly, it might hurt you. But if you do well, I don't think it makes much of a difference, honestly. So yeah, in summary,
mostly interview and WAT percentages in the final shortlist are pretty much are higher than your CAT's percentage. So CAT will be around 20-30% of your final score, and PI WAT will be around 50-60-40% of your final score. So you will have to getting through CAT is the easier part, I would say. PI WAT is the more difficult part. For personal interview, you have to kind of go through your personal history and kind of defend it properly. You'll have to know who you are, basically. I think we can move on to the next slide.
Yeah, okay. One last point. So like 2 days, right? If you're in a final year and then, or if you're if you've just moved into your 4th year, I think you should sit for your college placements, okay? Whether you joined a firm or not, that's a different question, but it'll at least prepare you for the interview, right? So you get the feel for the interview essentially. I mean, I did not sit for college placements and I regret it now. You should, whether you join it or not, it's a different thing.
Yeah. That is a very good point. Something that really helped me in my CAT, I would say, was basically the college the placements. In the placements, you'll have your aptitude tests. So daily you will be giving 1 or 2 aptitude tests for a period of 2 months leading up to that end of November CAT deadline, which is pretty much what practice you need for the CAT. It is a little, so some companies will have tests lower than your CAT level, some companies will have tests higher than your CAT level, but you will be in the ballpark range of the CAT, and you will get the practice of what type of questions there are. Because in aptitude tests, it is basically what the CAT syllabus is. They will have DIR, they will have VARC, they will have quant. So that really helps in your preparation as a fresher.
Yeah. Do you want to go over this? I mean,
कर लेते हैं.
अच्छा तो ठीक है. I mean, I just have one thing to say.
नहीं है कोई. लक्ष्य I think आ नहीं पाया तो
मतलब
थोड़ा bias रह जाएगा.
नहीं ठीक है. तो NIRF recently published the rankings, तो वो देख लेना यार.
But talking about me, what I'll say is you'll have most of your batchmates at Bangalore itself, so you can party a lot, you can have fun a lot at Bangalore.
Right. Yeah, that's
Karnataka is also not a dry state.
Yeah, but A is A, so
B is best.
of course. Okay, so yeah, like make your conscious choices, okay, and please, don't
do like just apply for Bangalore.
Yeah. You need to apply to all, and if you get shortlist, you can contact any one of us, and we'll guide you appropriately.
Yeah. Just to reiterate, please don't be stupid like me and apply to all the lower ranked ones also. Okay. I mean, I would even say like apply to FMS and IIT Delhi ones. They are also really good.
On that point, I would say like what I applied for, all the colleges till like Indore, Kozhikode. Also, I applied for CAP colleges. What we have in CAP colleges, it's a group of 9 and 10 IIMs which do the interview together. So CAP are all the new IIMs that they have. And according to that, all the colleges, then they shortlist individually. So what you do is you just give an interview, and then all the colleges get scores, and according to their criteria, they give you the shortlist. Also, I applied for FMS, I applied for MDI, I applied for SPGen also. So what plus point you have with this is, for my case, all these interviews were before my interview for ABC. So I had the experience of the interviews and what type of questions they'll be asking. So I was well prepared for my interviews for ABC. So that adds to the plus point for applying to all the institutes that you have in the list.
Yeah, that's a really good point actually. I mean, plus by the time you appear for interviews, you've already done an internship and everything, so financially it shouldn't be an issue for you. So apply to as many as you can. And yeah, I mean, unless you have like solid backup plans, you should apply to as many IIMs as possible. Okay, that's the safe bet. Later on, you can always reject if you feel like, okay, you don't want to go there. So
if you get that choice of rejecting an IIM, it is fun.
Yeah, right. I mean, so I have this friend of mine who is at IIMA first year, and she still gets like interview rejections from, I don't know, some IIM Visakhapatnam or Vizag, I think, whatever. Okay, anyway, so yeah, now we'll open the floor to questions. Okay, I'll also read out a few questions from this Excel sheet that was shared with us. Um, and if you feel like you want to ask me further questions, then please send an email to this. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to reply to each and everybody, but I'll try my best. Okay. Similar for others, please feel free to reach out to them. I'll just go through this sheet once and I'll see if we missed anything out. Okay, so the first thing says, how do we get financial assistance for admission to IIM? You guys want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So mostly in IIMs, what you'll see is people will be taking loans, but there is institute-specific financial aid policies. So at least for Bangalore, there is 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100% scholarships that are given depending on need.
And of course, like at IITK, what some of you would have done is taking the loan from SBI. So similarly here, you can take the loans and they can be repaid in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and the interests are lower for IIMs as well, as is the case for IITs. And also, banks will be coming to you to give loan. You don't really have to go and go to the bank and do that.
Yeah. So another question many people have is, what is the minimum CGPA and percentages in 10th and 12th? So my personal take on this is, again, the more the better. You should not sort of, analyze statistically your chance of getting in or out, because you never know. I mean, the only way that you can find out whether you'll get into a particular IIM with your particular profile and the score in exams is to just apply to them, right? I've seen many people who have scored like 99.99 and they still got rejected. Some people got in with 98, some people got in at 96, 95. So again, it depends, right? So the, again, rule of thumb here is to do the more the better, and apply, because only by applying would you know whether you would get into the IIM or not, right?
Now I would request you all, we are just speaking. So I would like you to enter in chat, like, why do you want to do CAT or why do you want to do MBA? Like, use the chat box and give us some answers so that we can know like how people at IITK are feeling, why they want to do the MBA. I'll give you some time to write
Sure.
out.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think we can answer some questions in the chat, maybe.
Yeah. Like, I'll just read out a few. So this Excel sheet, I've covered more or less everything. If you still feel like I missed out your question, then please put it on chat. Okay. So yeah, okay, I'll just talk a little bit more about the deferred placements. In the meantime, yeah, right, why you want to do an MBA, like Adhip asked. So deferred placement, not deferred placement, sorry, deferred admissions is essentially, if you're a fresher, right? So this does not apply to people with WOCAX. I'm not sure if this exists at B and C, but at A, if you're a fresher and you have a placement offer from some firm, then you could defer your offer of admission for a period of 1 year or 2 years. The main purpose of that deferment should be to get extra work experience. Okay, so that's allowed. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I think only IIMA does that.
Bangalore and Calcutta don't have deferred. I don't think IKLS or any.
Deferment is only for
Ahmedabad only has deferment. And,
Okay.
It is, and keep in mind, it is only after you get admission into IIM Ahmedabad, and actually I think you have to give a fees.
You need to deposit. You need to deposit 1 lakh to secure the seat, and if you leave it, then you can't get that 1 lakh back.
Y17 is doing a deferred. I think Ayush is doing, na?
Yeah, Sharma.
Yeah, Ayush Sharma
Another
is-
guy had deferred. He's doing UPSC, I think. So
Yeah, Harshit
yeah,
Rao.
yeah. I mean, yeah, there are many reasons why one might want to
You
defer,
could,
but
like, if you want to talk about, like, if you want to talk about deferred program, you could maybe reach out to them. Since
yeah,
they are
yeah,
part
yeah. Okay, so this question, is there any limit that after so and so years of graduation, would you guys want to take this up?
Not really. I think CAT can be given infinitely many times. So you can keep giving CAT every year if you want to.
Yeah.
These CAT coaching teachers actually give it every year. They just go and give the CAT with all the other students. To get a gauge of the paper that year. And what
How to get good SPI or CPI in IITK? I know you guys should talk about this.
that is not my expertise. I'm on.
Okay.
Nothing else.
I think, yeah, the best way would be to pray to the engineering gods, honestly. Okay, what exactly are the financial requirements for IIMs, approx fees and costs? So this varies from institute to institute. Tuition fee, including boarding, without mess fee, at IMA, like for my batch, it was 23 lakhs for 2 years. So 23 lakhs. For the current batch, I think they have increased a little, like, taking inflation and everything into account. So, and then you would also have your personal expenses. So maybe think for about 30 lakhs, like for ABC and
Yeah.
maybe Lucknow and everything, right?
Consider about from 25 to 30 lakhs. That
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
you would, if you go for exchange, then you would want to burn some cash in Europe, right? So that takes some
Yeah,
you need to
7 lakhs.
add 4 to 7 lakhs for
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So yeah,
exchange actually
just
your
consider.
bank loan kind of covers exchange costs as well if you want.
Yeah.
Loan can be added up. There is a specific portion for exchange specifically.
Yeah, again, like take 30 to 40. I mean, 40 should be more than sufficient. Somewhere around 30, 32. Okay. Okay. Next. So yeah, for scholarships, I think again you should Google, like Prakansh said, right? So just write IMA scholarships, IMB scholarships, and the first result that you get, that should be sufficient. Does defer admissions mean that we are selected?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So deferred admissions means you can't defer without getting selected to IMA. Okay. So first you take admission like any other person. You deposit the fees and everything, and then you tell them, okay, since I'm a fresher, I want to gain some work experience. So then they would defer your admission. Okay. So securing admission is the first step. And no, you don't have to sit for interviews again after you are done with the deferment. You can directly join. So let's say you got in this year and you deferred for 1 year, right? So then you'll join with the class of, so that would be class of 2025. And you won't again have to go through the interviews or everything. Yeah, IMB PIPs, if you want to answer this, how's the economics curriculum at
I don't
IIM?
think we can answer this. We
I
are
think
just
you
one.
can answer
I think you can only answer.
Oh, Acha, both of you are once, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So economics department, or it's called what do you call, an area. So the economics area at IMA is one of the best in the country, I would say. In fact, like the economics profs here are one of the uh, top economists, and they regularly advise the government of India, on various matters. So yeah, but then if you want to do an economics master's or something, I would not recommend doing an MBA. In that case, an MSc in economics from, let's say, Delhi School of Economics or JNU or some university abroad, I think that would be better, right? This is again if you want to study pure economics. Yeah, so that's my take on economics. On exchange program, I think, yeah, IMB people would be able to tell you.
So exchange, I mean, I think
Exchange, what do they have is like in IIT Kanpur, what you have is you have a bucket of courses which you have to complete. So in exchange, similar things happen. So you are given a course background or course schedule which you have to follow, and according to that itself, you will be taking the courses from a institute in abroad. So they would that would also be an MBA institute, and in that the courses that they are giving, and it should be colliding with the courses that you have to complete according to the requirement, according to your course schedule. So that is about the exchange. It is like just doing a term abroad. That's all for the exchange. What you have is the plus points for exchange is, of course, you get a foreign experience. So that adds to your resume point a lot, and you will be working in foreign companies in the future, so that will help you for the exchange.
yeah.
That's
So
about the
also another point for exchange, you have to give the fees of the parent institute. So the IIM that you are in and not the institute that you go to. The extra 5 lakhs which you will paying there, which will mostly be your lifestyle costs and your travel costs.
like the other further details about how it happens.
Yeah.
All these things you'll get to know when you come back.
Yeah, I think there are documents available online as well. You can go through this.
Yeah. Okay. How is FMS compared to IIMs?
No, we missed a question. Can you suggest some of the good resources and institutes for the preparation of CAT exam?
Oh, right.
So there
Sorry.
was a source given by Debashish. You can go through that. Also, there are n number of YouTube videos, and what we can tell what we use as for preparation. So for my case, I used IIMS test series, just the IIMS test series, not any coaching per se. And I, according to the timeline, like they have well distributed timelines. So according to their timeline, I gave the test. And for the interview preparation, I used CAT King. You can use any of that. So what they do at CAT King is they provide mentorship. They provide how different questions have to be answered, like why MBA, describe yourself, and they also keep you updated with some current affairs. So with the preparation of the interview, you also get to know about the current affairs that can help you in various other various college interviews, where some part of the interview is talking about the current affairs and like analyzing them, that was Putin right in his move on going on getting on a war with Ukraine or force.
Yeah.
Okay. So do management consulting firms?
Yes. I think some students have actually contacted me, and I have a drive link with resources from various sources. I am in the process of kind of refining the drive to be a little more useful, because it's basically a bunch of resources together and it doesn't really help. So what I'm in the process of is kind of picking and choosing some of the good resources and keeping only those. What I will do is maybe if someone can to Gulam, can we send a mail later on? I'll send a drive to you, and maybe you can send a mail through ShARE and the president later on.
Yes, that can be done.
Yeah, cool. We'll do that.
Cool. Okay. Next, so do management consulting firms prefer people with some work ex during IIM placements? I like, my personal take on this is, yeah, to some extent they do. But again, it depends on the profile, right? Like if you have really good CGPA and then you get shortlisted by the firm and you do well in the interview, then many freshers go on to work for management consulting firms. Okay. But yeah, in some sense, they do prefer people with work ex, because the job profile that you get after your final placements, right? Those are not like very entry level. So having some work ex helps, but I don't think if you have a good profile, like they'll discount you. Okay. So I got some personal DM. I think I'll just tell this to everybody. So maybe you guys can answer this. is FMS better than IIMs, considering fees, average packages?
Yeah, so
The tag matters, I would say, for this case. At IIM, you will be, when you pass through IIM, you will be having two tags, IIT tag and IIM tag. So when you will be going to a company or when you will be applying for a switch in a company, so that tag will help a lot. According to the average packages, I would say it varies year to year, and according to the recent results, they are better.
what I know is that FMS doesn't really get a lot of consulting placements, as far as I know. It's more
focused on
general management, sales and marketing roles are more popular in FMS. Consulting is a little less, but I think the MBB firms have started going there, but the number that they take from there is quite less, also because their batch size is lower.
Okay,
Any more questions? You can also raise your hand if you have any.
Yeah. That's also true. Yeah, again, my opinion on this is, so like one of my friends actually sums it up quite well. So he said, if you are getting an MBA, you might as well get it from IIM A, B, or C than FMS, right? That's not to say like there is anything inherently wrong with FMS, because in the short run, at least, the return for your money is actually way higher at FMS, right? So you pay them lesser money, but then if you see the average package, the difference is not huge. But then average as a measure is often misleading, because there are many fin firms where you work for like 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you get paid like 50 lakhs, and marketing job that would pay you 20 lakhs, but their average is 35, right? So average is very misleading. A more useful measure would be to look at the median salaries, or the number of company, or the kind of companies that go to these different institutes, right? Again, if you want to do marketing, and if FMS is good at marketing, by all means, please go to FMS. But again, I'm biased because I'm at one of the IIMs. So maybe, I don't know, if you just want to do a general MBA, then IIM A, B, C, or for that matter, L or Indore, that should be your top choices. But then again, it depends on your risk aversion also, right? If you take a loan of, let's say, 35 lakhs, then before your career has even started, you're in a debt of 35 lakhs. But I think at FMS, it's somewhere around 5 or 3. I don't know. I don't remember. Okay. So I don't have idea about SPGen, honestly. Adhip, you can maybe talk about that.
Yeah, so SPGen is just a private college. It is comparing the colleges, I would say Blackie. You when you'll be in the MBA world, you'll get to you'll hear a lot of time that Blackie. So what is Blackie? It's the group of 6 IIMs. It's Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Kozhikode, Indore, Lucknow, and Indore and Lucknow. So these are the top IIMs what you have. Comparing it with the private colleges where you have XLRI, SPGen, MDI, and FMS. So in the private colleges, XLRI is the best there, and SPGen comes next. But SPGen is heard a lot just because their packages are very well. Like the average package or the median package what we see at SPGen are good. But same as we compared FMS with IIMs, I would similarly say the IIM tag matters a lot in future. So while considering the colleges, of course, give those private colleges interviews and apply for them. But if you are getting an MBA in ABC, then you should not focus there. But comparing L with FMS or L with SPGen, then it's totally your choice what you prefer. You can talk to the mates there at Excel or Lucknow, and you can compare amongst yourself. Like it all depends on your pointers, what you want, what are your future prospects, what are you considering to do in future. According to that, you have to decide.
I mean, it's the same difference as IITs, and it's basically that.
True. Yeah, agreed. Also, you guys are at a very fortunate position, like IITK itself has a very wide alumni base. So if you guys are not on LinkedIn, then I would strongly suggest that you make a LinkedIn profile and just search for people. Okay, so if you want to know more about SP Jain, then you could search for IITK alumni who have gone on to like study at SP Jain and so on, and you could actually reach out to them and ask, okay, what made you choose SP Jain over the IIMs and so on, right? So that's one thing, because getting first and info would always be better than the three of us speculating and telling you stuff, right? So if you want to know something about IIM Shillong, for example, then you should reach out to people who study at IIM Shillong, and preferably who have also gone to IITK, because in that way, like you have something common to relate to, right? So even strangers are okay. I mean, like I'm going on exchange to Europe, and then I reached out to a few strangers who have gone to the same college, and they were really helpful, right? So yeah, that's also something that you learn by doing an MBA. It's just reach out to anybody and everybody shamelessly, and they'll be able. I mean, they'll be happy to help you in most cases. Okay. So yeah, that's some general gyan. I mean,
Any more questions? You can raise your hand. We would like to speak to you if you want.
yeah. Also, I did not expect this many participants, honestly. Okay, now it has reduced. At its peak, I think it was around 80 or something. Yeah, but now it's
Can
40.
you comment more about like placements versus preparing for CAT? Because as you told, one good thing was that placement aptitude test and all would be very helpful for CAT prep. But as a person, I am divided between appearing for placement. What I mostly consider is maybe have a work experience of, let's say, 2 years or something, and then maybe go for an MBA. That's what I was thinking. And like
Yeah,
both of you,
so
Debash. Yes, please go ahead, Prakansh.
yeah. So what I think, so I was in a pretty much the same condition last year. Basically, what I gave CAT just because I wanted to give CAT. I know that I wanted to do an MBA, if not now, later on. But so that's why I gave CAT. And once you get the CAT result, if it's good, then obviously you can move on to the next stage and kind of get the experience of going through an interview and the VAT process. So it was pretty impromptu and ad hoc for me, to be very honest. And up till the result, when IMB's result came on 23rd April or so, I was pretty much decided that I wanted to go for a job so I had a placement offer from Amex. So I was pretty much decided that I wanted to go for that. But when I got that offer, it changes things. When you get that offer and it's in front of you, you kind of realize that let me consider this properly and let me ask people. So what I did then was basically I called Adhip Garp. He's a Y16 and batchmate of Adhip. He actually did he just passed out this year from IIM Bangalore. So what I did, and I just reached out to him and I talked to him about my decision, and I talked to him very openly that I want to do this. Should I go right now or should I not? So and obviously he can't give me the objective answer. He can just tell me what he's seeing around him and what his personal experiences are. But then you have to take a call yourself. So what I would suggest is basically go through the process, go as far as you can. I would still say that focus on your placements, because as we have understood from this PPT WorkX, people are giving preference. So that definitely helps, and it helps in your curriculum at IMB as well. So WorkX definitely helps, but go through the process. I would say just give CAT, give the interviews if you get shortlisted, and if you get the offer, then it's good. Then properly consider it. That's what I
Right.
would.
So you told about there being a drive link of resources and all. And so
Yeah.
did you specifically prepare a bit for CAT or not at all? Nothing at all.
So I did go through so IMS I think sends a mail every year. They must have sent it to you by now, I think. I'm not sure. There is a coaching, there's a center close to the campus in Kakadeo. So
Okay.
what they do is they say, they kind of give very huge discounts to IIT Kanpur students.
Hmm.
I think almost up to 80% of their fees or something like that. I went through that coaching and I kind of prepared. I kind of understood because I had no clue what the syllabus was exactly. So I wanted to kind of understand what all is there, and I just went through their 2 month long basically the syllabus covering part of their thing, and I did it on the weekends along with my internship in the summer. And after that, in mid July or so, I left going. I stopped going there and just started preparing for the placements. I think that is what I did because I was also targeting MBB, which used to come earlier. But I think for this year, MBB is coming in later on as well, right? If anyone could answer that. Yeah, it's coming with in December with all the other companies. Yeah, so it's coming through SPO. So that will differ for you. Maybe you could still prepare for CAT, let's say till August or something. But other than that, I think.
But at least give a paper every week or two papers every week because you want to be in touch and not leave it to the last week and prepare.
Yeah, so what I did was also something stupid. I didn't really give mock tests a lot because I was giving aptitude tests every day. But I would suggest that do give mocks in between because aptitude tests are not a fair representation of CAT. You need to get into that rhythm of giving a 2 hour or 3 hour. I'm not sure what it will be this year. The CAT will be. So it's usually a 2 hour or 3 hour long paper. We had a 2 hour long. Debashish also had a 2 hour long paper. I think this year IIM Bangalore is conducting the exam, so they will announce what the paper length is and all by I think August is the date.
Yeah,
Got it.
it's pretty sorted actually. They'll inform you everything beforehand, so you would
Yes.
not have surprises in the exam.
And for IMS, as Prakansh said, what they have in their mock test is they provide you with a detailed analysis of how you have performed, how much time you have given to a question, and you can analyze that in the first mock you have taken like 15 minutes to solve a DLR set, and in like supposedly you are giving 10th mock, then you can compare that how well you have performed. Are you seriously improving or you are at the same level now also? So that comparison helps a lot, and so the graph usually how the graph is, first you perform very well, then it usually usually bends down, and that is the time when you stop preparing. So you should not leave there. That is the push point that you require, and after that the graph shoots up. So do not leave if you are performing if you are not performing well. Continue that, and you'll definitely score well in your CAT.
So a piece of advice that I give to everyone who is considering going for coaching or not, what I would suggest is basically just give 1 or 2 mocks before doing that. Understand what your deficiencies are. So when you when you're giving a mock, basically what you can do is you can just go online and search for the last year CAT paper, and you can just give that paper and compare your whatever score you get, give that paper properly in a 2 hour setting or 3 hour, whatever the duration of that year's paper is. Sit through that paper, get the score, and then the last year CATs on websites you will have a score versus percentile graph. Compare your score with that percentile and kind of understand what your percentile is. And I would say IITians should definitely target for that 99 plus or 99.5 plus percentile, because that is what gets us in. At least if you are a GEM, if you are a general engineering male, that is what gets us in. It is quite difficult without that.
99.6 plus would be a better ballpark, or it's a 99.8 plus should be the target, minimum target that
right. So you should obviously build to that. You will not get that in the first attempt. So just kind of understand what your deficiencies are. If you think your deficiency is VARC, then I would say just go specifically for the VARC. So IMS will have specific VARC courses as well. You don't necessarily do the whole need to do the whole thing. If you're comfortable with quant and DLR, don't do the quant and DLR coaching. You can just do VARC coaching, and they will help you. And you know what? Even if you just go for the test series, even if you give them like 2,000, 3,000 rupees just for if you get that percentile, they will help you through the interview process and the VAT process, because they know that you have the potential to get into an IIM, and that is publicity, that is free publicity that the coaching centers will get.
I see. That's nice. And so, do people really go ahead for coaching even after working? So let's say they have worked for 1 or 2 years, and then also they'll be preparing for coaching side by side. Is it the case, Adhip?
Yes, I did it. I did
Cool.
it.
Right.
Yeah,
And
usually it's a weekend, so you can manage it.
And like it depends on you if you want a coaching or not. I didn't go for coaching. I just appeared for the test series, and it was online itself. So test series and the recorded videos were the thing that helped me a lot.
right. And where could we actually get mock papers? Like, are they easily available online? Good quality?
Yeah, so the last year CATs, you can easily get it online.
Yes.
Some other coaching material I do have, but I'll need some time to prepare that drive link properly.
Of
So
course.
just give me some a week's time or so. I'll communicate that link through Gulam to you guys.
Absolutely, Prakansh.
Till then, maybe you can go through the last year CATs. That is what I would suggest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, any other questions? If not, we can try to wind this up. Okay. Please write on chat or raise your hand if you have any other questions. Although I suspect we must have covered more or less. But yeah, and yeah, if you, if you can't come up with any questions now, or later on, if you have questions, then yeah, write to any of us or all of us. I'll be happy to help to the extent I can. Okay. Obviously, I can help you get into IIMs, but yeah, I can tell you, okay, this is how things work and stuff.
You can reach out to us on any of our social media handles, LinkedIn or say. We'll be happy to help you all.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I'll ask Gulam or whoever is the host of this meeting to download this PPT and share it with you guys. Okay, so that you can get. Yeah.
So we are going to end the session, and thanks everyone for attending. And I would like to thank all the speakers for sharing their experience and presenting all the information in such a nice way. It was very helpful. Thanks a lot. And I think we should go ahead to end the meeting.
Okay, sure. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Adhip, Deba,
Yeah,
Prakansh. Thanks for this.
all the best, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure.
Okay,
Bye-bye.